to just what you guys normally do during the week? Any adjustments to your schedule, the drills you do on certain days, or are you guys just pretty much, what the pattern that you guys have always done?
I don't want to say always. You're always kind of
Sure.
tweaking and fine-tuning, but I would say the majority of it is very similar to how we've structured practices over the past years.
Matt, you guys did extend Daniel yesterday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, what did you think just his body work the last 2 years, or just kind of the trajectory he's on right now?
Yeah, I think he's a young player that has shown a ton of growth and is going to be a real weapon for us. And I told him I'd rather only see him go out there and hold, but in the event that we have to punt, I have a lot of confidence that he can be a real game changer for us in regards to playing the field position battle.
How's Micah look through 2 days?
He's looked limited, but he's done a nice job in that regard.
Okay, as far as the explosive, I mean, you've obviously seen him on tape when he said it's
Sure.
Has he shown you some of that in that limited capacity?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a freak, so that certainly it stands out when he's out there.
Matt, obviously there's always unknowns in week one, a lot of unscouted stuff, but obviously Dan's been the head of that program for a long time now. When you're putting together your game plan, even though it's a new coordinator, they have a play style as far as to the whistle.
Sure.
They're pretty physical and, let's say, kind of handsy on the back end. How much are you as a play caller / game planner leaning into stuff early, like your openers, to try and get a feel for how they intend to play?
Yeah, I would say a lot of that is, I mean, you're going to be, really the majority of the game, you're going to be constantly adjusting to certain things you see. And, I'm sure they're going to have a new flavor in really on offense and on defense. But I would say the majority is going to be probably the foundation that they've laid. They've had a lot of success over the last few years, so I can't see them deviating too much from that. They've got a lot of returning players, a lot of great players. So I would anticipate it's going to be majority a lot similar, but I'm sure they're going to have a few wrinkles in there as well, and as is to expect with every new season.
What stands out about Goff's efficiency? What makes him so?
Yeah, if you give him a sliver of light, he's going to make you pay. I think he is so decisive as a quarterback. I think he does a great job reading with his feet. He can anticipate. He can make every throw out there. He's got a lot of trust and confidence in his playmakers, and he's got a lot of playmakers around him. So I think that over time they've done a really good job protecting him. As with most quarterbacks, the key is always in the pass game is try to get him off the spot as best you can, because it's harder to throw like that. But he does a great job of feeling the pressure and knowing where to go with the football. So I think he's played at a really high level, really the course of his career, but especially these last couple of years, I think it's been elite.
Yeah, you had, I think, all 53 guys on the practice field in some capacity yesterday. Will that be the same today?
That is the anticipation, yes.
What have you thought of the camp Carrington has had, and maybe where he's grown from year 2 to 3?
Yeah, I think another guy that's just consistently improved, and I think a lot of it, just thinking back from a couple years ago, is he really transformed his body and added some weight and muscle, and but that's the one thing you can always count on with CV is his willingness to go out there and compete and challenge. And I think that, not everybody does that at that position, but you can always count on that from him.
Have you decided which side of the ball is going to be introduced on Sunday?
I have not.
With Wicks and Reed missing so much time during camp, obviously Reed the other day too, are they back in a pretty good group as far as chemistry-wise goes with the passing game?
Yeah, I would say so. They've got a lot of banked reps that you can lean on, and I think certainly I would anticipate as the season progresses and they get more time on task with Jordan in our offense, I would anticipate it getting a little bit cleaner every week. So, but I think they've done a nice job. Two guys that we know what we're getting and that we can count on.
Now, what's most impressed you about Nate Hobbs and how he's been able to ramp up his recovery, where he can go from practicing to limited to almost a full time?
Yeah, Nate's a dog. He's a great competitor, and that's why we got him. So he's really worked hard at doing all the little things to put him in this position to, potentially play on Sunday.
What do you feel like he still needs to, like the level he still needs to get to before he can even be ready?
Well, I think it's just going through practice, evaluating him. Sometimes he's a guy that is going to tell you that everything's good, but you've got to feel confident with what you see when he's out there and how he performs. So sometimes you got to protect some of these guys from themselves, and I would put him in that bucket.
Matt, what did you like about Musgrave and how he just performed in camp and just how he was getting a good rhythm with the offense?
Yeah, I think he's always. I think we've always seen the talent from him, and unfortunately, he's been limited a little bit over the course of his career with some injuries. But I think just his knowledge of our system, the expectations of what he's got to go out there and do, and just watching him grow in that facet and go out and play aggressively and play fast. I think he's done a really good job of one thing we've always talked about with him in regards to attacking the football is just being aggressive with his hands. And I think he's done that, and he's made a lot of great catches throughout the course of training camp. So I'm really excited for Luke to see where he goes this season.